Riley Smith, Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, and I'm here right now with Bryant Luers. He is a Southern Iowa agronomist with LG Seeds. Bryant, it's been a great crop season so far. Could you tell us a little bit about kind of the challenges that tar spot has posed in your area?
Absolutely. And thanks for having me on. Tar spot's been one of those real hot button issues across much of the Corn Belt, really, for the last 5+ years. And this year's no different. So, if we look at what we're seeing so far, I would say pressure right now is minimal, but it's definitely ramping up because of the weather patterns we've had recently. So I would say it's something we need to be on the lookout here for the next, 2-3 weeks, and especially moving into fall, because the past few years, especially if I look back at last year, it really came in late and it decimated some of the late grain fill.
And I would say the story of this year for the crop season has been phenomenal weather, especially here in Iowa. We've gotten timely rains. The temperatures haven't been too bad. Obviously, Mother Nature's trying to prove us wrong this week. But in general, when it comes to tar spot, what weather conditions are the most favorable for the spread of that happening?
So there's a couple different things we look for in order to have tar spot really ramp up and spread. Number one, it's a little cooler temperatures. So, you don't want those 95-degree days. You want some days in the 80s and then getting down in the 70s and even into the 60s at night, which if we look at the last, especially week and a half, 2 weeks here, we've got a lot of that. The other thing is extended leaf wetness. So that can come from a couple different things. It can be rainfall, which we've gotten. It could be high humidity, which we've gotten. It could be fog in the morning, which we've had all three of those over the last week and a half, right? So I would say conditions are very, very favorable right now for tar spot to really hit us pretty hard.
And then I know there's a lot of management practices that can help fight against tar spot. Hybrid selection is really at the top of that, making sure you have strong genetics. When it comes to that hybrid selection, what should farmers look for to make sure they are prepared to kind of combat tar spot?
You're absolutely correct. Hybrid selection is your number one line of defense. Obviously there's other things we can do on the back end with fungicide applications. But when it comes to really putting our best foot forward to protect ourselves against tar spot at the beginning of the year, it starts with hybrid selection. There is a huge difference between tolerances of tar spot on hybrids. And I know here at LG Seeds, we've done an excellent job over the past 5+ years of rating those products very vigorously before they come out of our research and breeding program. And so just be aware of that when you guys are making product decisions. Keep that in the back of your mind. Have those discussions with your agronomist, with your district sales manager, because they should have a pretty good idea how those products handle it. But it does make a huge difference. If I look at a product like our LG Seeds 62C73, that's kind of what's putting it on the map right now. I mean, high yields, but excellent tar spot tolerance. And, it's just something we have to have going forward of products that are good against tar spot, because it's not going anywhere, right?
Absolutely. It's one of those things we have to deal with every year. And outside of tar spot, Bryant, in Southern Iowa, how are the crop conditions looking right now?
I would say crop conditions as a whole, I would put like 80% in the good to excellent category on corn. Beans probably not quite so high. It seems like beans from day one just struggled a little bit. But if I'm looking at corn, I would say we're 80% good to excellent. Had you asked me that probably 2 weeks ago, I would have put that number a little higher. But we've had some wind events come through and, dealing with a little bit of green snap, a little bit of root lodging, stalk lodging in places. So it's pretty pocketed. But I would say for the most part, things are looking excellent. And I don't remember being, what are we sitting July 23rd here today? I don't remember sitting in late July and having this much moisture for probably the last 5-6 years. So we're in a really good spot.
And then, of course, as we look at the 2026 crop season, now is really the time to start preparing for that. Why is that we look so far ahead at that point? And what are some of the things that you recommend farmers should be looking for as they prepare for next year already?
Yeah, so just getting a good idea what products that you want to look at for next year. I mean, now is a great time to go out and evaluate these things. We're starting to see disease show up. We're getting ear sets in a lot of areas. And so you can really start to go out and get a good visual sense of what these products are going to be. And obviously that doesn't tell the whole story, right? We'll get into harvest and we'll know a little bit more information on what actual yields are. But I think starting now is really when you need to be out there getting a good look at these products, getting a good visual feel for them, because, something might be the highest yielding, but might be terrible on tar spot or disease or have root lodging or something. And so you really do need that whole story. And this is kind of the beginning of that to get a good feel for what those products look like out in the field.
All right, Bryant, lots of great information today. For any of our farmer listeners who are watching along and would like to learn more about LG Seeds, how can they do that?
Yeah, so get in touch with us at lgseeds.com, or you could reach out to myself or any of the LG Seeds sales agronomist team, as well as the LG Seeds district sales managers. So, a good place to start would be at lgseeds.com. Go check that out. If you guys are interested in hearing more, put in a request there and somebody will be in touch with you.
All right, thanks again for your time, Bryant, and have a great rest of the crop season.
All right, you too. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.